Hello, Christine here. Not here to talk about crafts today. It's actually still Monday the 4th. I already made one video today, but this is going to be a video on an entirely different topic. Something that I have been mulling over for a while now and wanting to do, but truth be told, chickened out. I have decided to just do it, and hopefully I can help others and help myself at the same time. So what I want to share with you is my efforts, my journey toward better health. I have been overweight and extremely overweight for most of my life. Probably since the age of 7, I'd say, I started carrying extra weight. For a long time, you could call me chubby. But then chubby grew to, more than chubby. I think I packed on an average of 10 pounds per year, usually during the summertime. I guess during the school year, I always walked to school and did all of the compulsory exercises. And of course, you walk a lot between classes. And I guess I was able to keep it at bay during the school year. But every summer, like clockwork, I would gain 10 pounds. I think it was the accumulation of bad habits that just grew and became very entrenched in my life. I've done numerous diets and probably lost the most during times that I went to Jenny Craig, just because I was able to keep the diet. It was smaller portions and the weight did come off. I was close to a normal weight just before getting married, and then after we got married, I started gaining again. And I reached my high a few years ago at 260 pounds. Now, I'm only 5 feet tall, so I was not doing well. Physically, just becoming much less mobile, having much more pain, knee pain, foot pain, you name it, tired, lethargic. And so it finally clicked to me, you've got to do something about this. I mean, I've prayed about this all my life, but I guess it was just a half-hearted attempt most of the time to lose. And if I did lose, it would be, just a little bit, and then I'd gain more. But getting on in years now, I'm 61, the toll that it's taken on my body is marked and felt. And it starts getting scary when you think about having a real problem getting around just to do normal life. We're not talking about extreme sports here. I just want to function, do what I need to do, clean my house, do my shopping, live life without pain. And so a few years ago, I just finally was able to make some changes that stuck. My normal pattern was to do a diet about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I would fall off. And like I said, Jenny Craig was the only thing I did for an extended period. But even that, it's just not sustainable once you go off it because, I guess I didn't go off it the right way. I guess some people do have long-term success with that, but I did not. So a few years ago, I just started trying to eat less. I did intermittent fasting for a while. I gave up most carbonated drinks, Coke for sure. And it hasn't been perfect. I've slipped up here and there, but for the most part, I don't drink Coke anymore. I still have a bit of a weakness for ice cream, but I am so thankful to be down now from my high, which was 260. I am down this morning. I weighed 209. So it's taken a few years, but that I can feel that. I have felt that, and I do feel better, but I know I can still feel a lot more better, if that's a word, if I keep going and if I really make some further changes to my diet, to the amount of exercise I get. But I need accountability, and so that's where you all come in. I hope that you will give me that, and maybe I in turn can share my struggles and can relate to some of you, and maybe we can encourage each other on this path. So I will try and check in weekly and let you know how I did during the week, what worked, what didn't work, and hopefully see that scale go down. And it's not just a number on the scale, it's everything that goes with it. Feeling better, being healthier, more mobile, less pain. It all kind of goes together, at least for me it does. And so that's the reason for this video. So I will tell you what I'm doing now as far as my efforts toward better eating and more mobility. I started must be about 5 weeks now, doing a green smoothie every morning. I think I've missed maybe 3 or 4 mornings. And that even includes during my trip to California. My wonderful stepmom started making me green smoothies. So that really helped. And so I do that, and that is going along with a diet protocol created by Dr. Brooke Goldner. She has a YouTube channel, and she wrote a book called Goodbye Lupus. She was diagnosed with lupus, I want to say in her early teens. She might have been 12 even. And she was very ill, very ill. And she tells her whole story on YouTube and how she healed, how she was vegetarian for the longest time, but she still ate, the cheese, the dairy, a lot of inflammatory foods, even being meat-free. So when I'll let her, if you're interested in her story, it's out there and it's a beautiful story, and I encourage you to watch it because number one, it's, like a miracle, and two, it's not what you're going to hear from your established medical community, because, how do we treat diseases? How do we treat illness? Drugs, and she healed with diet, with mostly raw vegetables and little fats. She did no dairy, no meat, no oils, except for flaxseed oil. That's the only oil she uses. But she does all vegetables and fruits, cruciferous vegetables being the most healing. And she has some more leeway in her diet now. She's actually been symptom-free for almost 20 years now, doing this diet. And the least severe protocol is the green smoothie every morning, and then you do whatever you want with the rest of your diet. I mean, hopefully giving up processed foods and looking to eat healthier. But it's not strict vegan or raw vegetable, plant-based. If you have like something like lupus, like she had, or a severe chronic disease, she has different levels of assistance that she provides, and they're not all free. She gives a lot of free instruction, advice on YouTube and Facebook. There's a wonderful Facebook group called Smoothie Shred, I think. Her and her husband are both into fitness and health, and it was actually her husband that helped her heal from lupus. Her desire was to get what did she call it, ripped for her wedding day, and in the process of doing that, they adopted a diet that eventually healed her lupus. And so, I mean, I keep wanting to tell you her story. You just need to watch it. It's amazing. But so I found out about her about a month ago or 5 weeks ago from my sister. And I thought, well, that ought to help me doing those green smoothies and getting more vegetables in. Common sense tells me that's a good thing to incorporate into my diet. And I find that the more good stuff I eat, the more it crowds out room for the bad stuff. You know, if you prepare a good meal, you're less likely to want to stop and get fast food or order something quick. If you have something already prepared or close to being prepared, I try and shop really healthy. That way the fridge is full of stuff that can be cooked. I have no excuse to buy food outside of the house, you know, the fast food. So that's one of my methods to eat better. So aside from the smoothies, I'm doing just trying to incorporate more vegetables, and now more raw vegetables since I started watching her videos. I also did I mention I did intermittent fasting for a while? That actually helped me take off some pounds, but it stopped working because once I ate, I tended to still overeat, and I ate whatever I wanted. So I wasn't always making good choices, and so I kind of plateaued with that. So it's the smoothies, it's more vegetables, less meat, less dairy, no of the dangerous oils, the vegetable oil, the safflower, canola, the seed oils, all supposed to be bad for you. I have not even been able to find flaxseed oil, actually. And so I'm not totally doing all of her protocol, like I said. Mainly the green smoothie. And the green smoothie is 75% vegetables. And for the smoothies, power greens, spinach. So that takes up like 75% of the smoothie is the vegetables. And then you add either flax seeds, whole flax seeds, or chia seeds. And that's why you need a good blender, because those flax seeds need to get ground down. My wonderful sister gave me a Vitamix recently, so I've started using that. But before that, I was using the Ninja. It was a Ninja blender, Ninja Bullet or something like that. And it was doing fine. It was actually grinding down those seeds as well. But of course, when I got the Vitamix, I started using that. And I kept the Ninja as a backup in case anything happens. But so yeah, so then you put a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of the seeds, either flax seeds or chia seeds. Ice water, about 6 ice cubes in water. And then the rest, the last 1/4 or 25% is fruit. And you're adding the fruit to make the whole thing palatable. You're not adding it to make it sweet. These are not sweet smoothies, but they're tasty enough to get down, and they're actually very refreshing. I find them very refreshing, and most of them will turn this wonderful bright green, beautiful color because of those greens. And yeah, so usually it's a frozen banana. You want to freeze those bananas when they're already spotted, you know, have the brown spots on them so they're sweet. And mango chunks or strawberry or berries, strawberries, blueberries, pineapple, any fruit really, apples. I think I've used nectarines and pretty much anything I had on hand that I thought would make it a little bit sweeter. Grapes. So sometimes some of my combinations turn the smoothie not a really appetizing color, but they always taste decent and I enjoy them. So if it's not a good color, I'll just put it in a glass where I'm not looking at the color constantly. So yeah, and staying away from processed foods. Not completely. I still eat some regular food. When I went to California, I had In-N-Out hamburger and the fries. I had to. It was just in fact, I had it twice. But I did okay. I actually came back from that trip and I had lost a couple pounds. So it was all good. Well, I was sick the last 2 days. Full disclosure. I caught a cold out there and didn't eat much those last 2 days. But anyhow, so that's what I'm doing as far as diet. Exercise, I usually can exercise with the program on it's either, she's on YouTube, she's got a website, also an app. It's called Faithful Workouts. And she has lots of chair workouts, which is about my pace right now. My knee's been bothering me a little bit, and so I don't do the heavy walking because my knee starts bugging me. So hopefully if I lose some more weight, and I get a little stronger in my leg muscles, my knee will allow me to walk more. But for now, I'm doing the chair exercises, and believe it or not, you can work up a sweat. You can get sore doing a chair exercise if you are as out of shape as I am. So I enjoy Faithful Workouts, and I'll put a link to anybody I mention in the description box if you want to check them out. So this is Faithful Workouts is run by Michelle Spadafora, and it's a great program. She's got hundreds of videos, not as many on YouTube, but still a good selection on YouTube, but all of them are on her website. The only reason I like watching them on YouTube is because then I can watch it on my TV and it doesn't go black after 10 minutes or whatever my computer screen time is set to go black at, because then I have to stop what I'm doing, go log in again, get the screen back. So that's what I'm doing for exercise. I also do, sometimes I had a bad episode earlier this year. If you follow my videos, you know about it, where I woke up one morning and I could not walk. One leg just was in terrible pain when I put any weight on it. I thought it was sciatica, but that's what my GP said it was. But then when I went to physical therapy, he was looking at all what I could do and couldn't do and where the pain was, and said it was actually a strained gluteal muscle. And so a combination of pain meds, a course of steroids for a week, and the physical therapy brought me back, thankfully. So thankful. And it took a while. It took like a month to feel no pain anymore, and then another month to get my strength back in that leg, because when you don't walk, you get weak. When you don't use your muscles, they get weak. And it seems like the older I get, the faster they start getting weak when they are not used. So right now my arms are very weak, so I'm feeling the pain of starting back with Faithful workouts, because she works your entire body. So I do have some soreness in my arms right now, but that's a good thing. She works with bands and an exercise ball. All of her equipment you can buy on her website, or if you already have it, even better. Or you can do no equipment and just use your own body weight as you learn the exercises. She also uses free weights a little bit. Yeah, so yeah. Oh, so anyway, when I was recovering from that leg injury or that muscle injury, the physical therapist gave me a set of exercises to do at home. And then they sent me home at the end of all my sessions. They sent me home with like 8 exercises to continue doing. So I do also do those, not every day, but this is bad. When I start feeling weak, I get on the floor and start doing them again. But they're normal squats, you know, getting up and out of a chair 30 times, leg lifts, those clamshell things when you're lying on your side, things like that to strengthen the leg, strengthen the hips. And that's about it for exercise. I want to start walking with my husband and my dogs. My husband takes my dogs walking every day, and they don't go miles and miles. So I would like to start doing that again. And that'll be my exercise. So I think that covers it. Diet, exercise. Another big part for me is my Bible study every morning. That gets my head in the right place and really does help me throughout the day to make better choices. It's amazing to me how it works. I can't spell it out for you exactly why or how it makes a difference, but it does. Because I know when I go a few days without having my devotion time in the morning with the Bible, I start making bad choices, I overeat, I end up at the end of the day regretting everything that I put in my mouth. And I don't know, it's like the temptations have more strength and power over me when I haven't been in the Word. So that is key for me. Just having that time spent studying, meditating on truth, and giving the day to the Lord and walking in His strength and not my own. Because on my own, I fail miserably. But when I rely on His strength, the strength of the Holy Spirit, and seek that actively, I'm able to do what I thought I could never do. I used to drive down the street, and honestly, I would focus on every single fast food restaurant that I would pass. Someone would ask me directions somewhere, and my landmarks would be fast food places. I couldn't go anywhere without that temptation to go through a drive-thru. I know it sounds bizarre to some people, but to others, you may relate. Now, praise God, I can go anywhere and not even look at a fast food restaurant. It's like the last thing on my mind. That's nothing I did. That's God answering prayer after prayer after prayer, asking Him to, deliver me from that desire just to eat all that junk, because it is junk. It is full of chemicals and things to artificially make it taste good, to make it addictive, so we keep going back to it over and over again. Yeah. So I have experienced a real healing in that one thing. for sure. And I know that he can help me get the rest of the way there. But, you know, I'm still living in this carnal body, and I know that if I'm not diligent about it, I will easily fall back into my old ways. So I'm trying to be very intentional and bring you along for some accountability. Because if I know that I have to report in a couple days, I'm less likely to say, oh, I'll just have this and not think about it. Or check my brain at the door and go and eat something I don't need. Yeah. So aside from, the Bible study, also I wanted to mention water. Dr. Brooke Goldner is big on water, and I can't remember her name. Also, the lady who I was watching, who is a expert on intermittent fasting, but water's big. Dr. Goldner says drink at least 96 ounces a day. Others say drink half your body weight. That's close enough for me. If I can get 96 ounces in, I'm a happy camper. Now, yes, that means you are going to be peeing a lot at the beginning because your body is not used to all that liquid. First in your smoothie and then in your water. So I did learn kind of late in the process, after several weeks of doing this and pretty much going to the restroom every hour, that you do need to monitor your salt and make sure that you are getting enough salt, because flushing all that water through you can deplete your electrolytes, and that is not good. You can feel dizzy or lightheaded. It's not a good thing to allow to happen. So make sure you're getting, I forget what she says, it's like a half teaspoon of salt a day. If you're feeling depleted or tired, put a pinch of salt in your water or on your food to make sure your electrolytes are okay. Or nowadays they sell all those packets you can take or add to your water as well. I don't do any of that, but I actually bought their mineral drops at the vitamin shop. It's just a bottle of mineral drops, and you add a few drops to your water if you're drinking purified water to make sure you're getting the minerals that you should be getting. And I think that has electrolytes in it too. I get enough salt. I put salt in the food that I cook. Not a great deal, but enough. I think that's it. So I'm excited. I'm a little trepidatious as well, putting this all out there. But you know, it's not like it's a secret. You see me every week. You see my size. I'm definitely overweight. And let's just be honest here, morbidly obese is the category I find myself in these days. And that is not a good thing. So I will also be honest with you about my struggles and my failures, because we're human. I'm real. And this, I know from experience, this may not be just, you know, this nice, pretty downward flow chart of my weight, my weight measurements as I drop down on the scale. Mine looks more like this, but hopefully it will be in a downward trend. Yeah. So another thing that Dr. Goldner's husband talks about, he's into fitness and weight loss, and he gives some great talks on Facebook, on the Facebook group, about how much our weight fluctuates just based on water retention and the amount of or what we ate that day, or different factors, hormones. Your weight first he has a couple of exercises that he gives you to do. One is to track your weight for 1 day, every hour, weigh yourself. And you will see how much your weight fluctuates throughout 1 day. And then the second exercise is to weigh yourself every single day for, I think it's 30 days. And you'll see, in order to see if you're really losing, because from 1 day to the next, sometimes we weigh and then the next day we're down 2 pounds. And then the next day we're up 2 pounds. And we're like, what did I do? And he's trying to get us to realize we should not be stressing over those day-to-day fluctuations, because that's simply water retention or food in our gut. And so you only know if you're really losing if you track it over time. So I've been doing that exercise, and I think I'm down about 3 pounds for the month. And I know that's not a lot, but it's in the right direction, okay? So I take that as a win. But it has really helped me not to stress over the day-to-day fluctuations and not to panic, because you know what happens when we panic, at least for me. I throw up my hands in the air and say, okay, it's not working. I'm gonna go and eat. And I will look for the most fattening, salty thing I can find. This is another reason why it's good not to stock all that stuff in your pantry. I used to lie to myself and say, oh, I'll buy these cookies, but I'll just have one every couple days. Or I'll buy these Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars at Sam's Club because it's such a good buy. And I'll just have, one a week or one every few days. Yeah, right. No, that's not how reality played out, okay? I love those Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars. And I would eat one and then 2. I think I ate 3 in a day even. I hope I didn't get to 4. I'm pretty sure I got to 3. So yeah, no, it doesn't work. It's really hard to say no when it is so close by and so accessible. It's just better not to stock it. And that's what I've learned finally. At 61, I've learned that lesson. Anything that I bring into the house I'm in danger of eating. So better not to have it. Then I don't have to worry about it. Or if I'm going to bring it in, just assume I'm going to eat it. So if I'm going to allow myself to have Haagen-Dazs, I better just be bringing one container in the house, because I'll just keep going. Sadly. Even when I know I'm going to have a stomachache the next day, or even within hours, if I eat too much dairy, I'll still eat it. Yeah. Okay. So yes, the struggle is real, and I will share that with you, and I will just try and be as honest as I can, and let you know what works and what doesn't work. And hopefully we can see that scale go down. Not because, again, I'm obsessed on a number, but because it's an indicator that, yes, I am doing things that I should be doing and not doing things I should not be doing. So, okay, I have talked your ear off. I want to share one more thing. Again, it's where my strength comes from. So I just have to. So some of you know I've been working through this commentary on the book of Zechariah. Zechariah, prior to opening this commentary, was this obscure little book in the Old Testament, 16 chapters total, a collection of visions that were given to this prophet in the Old Testament thousands of years ago. What does it have to do with me? At least that's what I thought. And the more I work through this commentary and just see how these visions are related to so many other scriptures in the Bible, I mean, I'm going from Old Testament to New Testament, from Genesis to Revelations. Stuff that is relevant to this little book of Zechariah. And I had filmed this whole video about losing weight, tracking my weight, earlier today. And right after I had filmed it, I opened this to do my study for the morning, and I came upon a section that was just so applicable to what I'm dealing with and going through in this weight loss journey that I had to share it. And so I filmed the whole thing, and then I was doing the editing, and I realized that you could hear my husband in the background talking on the phone. I didn't realize the microphone was picking him up until I got to the editing process, and I was so disappointed. So here I am. This is the second filming. I know some of you have experienced that. But I wanted to share this that I had found this morning in this commentary. And he's discussing a vision that Zechariah saw of a lampstand in the temple. And this lampstand was unique because it had, normally in the old temple in Jerusalem, the priests would have to constantly add oil to the lamps to keep them burning. And that was like their job, to keep the oil filled in the lamps. Well, this vision that Zechariah had was of a lampstand that had bowls somehow feeding the oil constantly into the lamps. And next to the lampstand, there were 2 olive trees. So the olive trees were there to continue representing, in the vision, continually feeding oil into this lamp. So it was self-sustaining. It would always burn. It required no intervention by any priests or human. And it represented God's glory and the Spirit of God that would light the world in the future when Christ's kingdom is on earth. And so it applied to the time there in Zechariah's time to encourage the people who were working on rebuilding the temple. The temple had been destroyed by Israel's enemies, and they were attempting to rebuild it now. And they were receiving a lot of opposition and ridicule. And so the Lord gave these visions to Zechariah to encourage the people, to let them know he had not forgotten them, that he was there to help them, that he would bless their work. And so this vision of this lampstand was given to him, and the commentary was explaining it. So I came to this portion, and it just really touched my heart as far as my own struggles with this mountain of weight that I have to lose. It says, if Zerubbabel and his fellow Israelites failed to rely on the power of the Spirit, their finite reservoir of human strength would quickly run dry, like the old lampstands. And they would be unable to complete the task. For them, the task was rebuilding the temple. For me, it is losing a significant amount of weight. But if they relied on the Spirit's power, they would enjoy an unending source of unstoppable strength. Again, in this vision of this self-sustaining lamp. Yahweh punctuated that point by saying, what are you, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel, you will become a plain. Zerubbabel was actually the guy in charge of the building of the temple. Zechariah was the prophet that was seeing these visions. And it's a hard word to say, but I will try. Zerubbabel. The Bible uses mountains to illustrate that which is strong and immovable. Accordingly, they can represent obstacles or problems that seem insurmountable and unassailable. In the days of Zechariah, Zerubbabel faced such challenges in rebuilding the temple. But the Lord encouraged his people by putting those obstacles in proper perspective. That's where my daily morning Bible study comes in, just helping me put things in proper perspective. He addressed those seemingly insurmountable difficulties with a rhetorical question. What are you? The challenges Zerubbabel faced were nothing for God to overcome. Hence the Lord proclaimed, before Zerubbabel, you will become a plain, speaking to the mountain, a flat and level surface. God pledged to smooth the way for Zerubbabel and his people. If they would depend on him in obedience, he would remove any obstacle in their path. So I read that this morning, right after filming this for the first time. And it just gave me such encouragement to press on and to see what the Lord might do in this life of mine, even yet at the age of 61. This mountain is movable because of his strength in me, not my own, not anyone else's, but his. I leave you with that, and I will see you in a week or so.